Hey guys, this is Randy here with another video. Uh, as always, guys, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you'd like to help support our channel, our Cash App is in the description below. Any help would be appreciated. Thank you. Now we're past that. I want to do a video today on the 4160 rear plate. This is what we use instead of the metering block. This is what comes stock. But if you ever want to put a four-corner idle circuit, this will not work. Pure and simple. It will not work. There might be an aftermarket one possibly that will, but I don't know of it. I have an aftermarket one here, but it's not going to do what a regular metering block will do in the rear with a four-corner after we drill the passages, like we did on the 600 earlier, a few videos back. Okay, now the main thing you got to remember with this plate, there's all different types of plates. There's several different ones, and some of them, they're already pre-drilled. If you look right here, I don't know if they can see that, cameraman.
Yes, sir.
But right there is the idle circuit. That's where it's pulling the fuel. The fuel restriction is right there, and it's pre-drilled on both sides. So what it does here on this actually is being hooked to pulling air from the transfer slot downward here, so it's drawing fuel in here. Then our actual air bleed for the idle circuit is right here. It matches up with the air bleed, which is right here, guys. And it's the bleed, which you can't hardly see that, but it's the bleed, the outer bleed right there, the bigger bleed. It's the outside bleed. All right. So we got our air coming in here. Our fuel coming in here, pulling out of the main well here, the main circuit, and it's drawing down to the transfer slot. All right. So we can change this hole, or we can modify it. This aftermarket quick fuel actually has a little threaded plug. Now the plug's out of it now, but it's got threads in there, and you can change the little threaded plug. And if you're good enough, you can sit there and modify that and do the same thing. But usually you can come up with the right idle bleed. It don't take a lot, and you're going to be idling mostly off the front metering block, because this just puts a little bit in, basically little to the transfer slot. The transfer slot on most 4160s are not exposed at idle. Majority of them are not exposed, so it's only going to really pull very little fuel if it pulls any. And as you open the secondary, that's when you're going to use more of this slot here, this hole, this restriction. All right, right all up here, over here is the idle bleed, if you match it up to the carburetor. Over here is the main well, and then right next to it is the actual main bleed for the main well, the high-speed air bleed. Okay, so it draws fuel right here, right there. Now I've modified, I think this one, no, I didn't modify this one. I've got one in here I have modified. But you can modify these, drill them, and put you some threads in it if you want to, or you can just drill it the size you want, and hopefully you get it the right size, If not, drill it out and then put the plug in. It draws fuel up, and it comes right in, right about here where it comes in the booster. And can they see that good?
Yes, sir.
And so basically it draws from this main jet up this circuit. Air bleed's coming in right there, and it's drawing fuel right there into the booster. The booster's pulling it in. And these come, like I say, they come in different sizes. The best way to do is gauge pin them. That way you can gauge pin the actual jet, and you can gauge pin these. These usually run anywhere from 30 to 40 thousandths. Some of them a little bigger, some smaller. And they got to match up, guys. Now this is, a lot of them come like this. They come with the plate, then they come with a gasket, then they come with a metal plate to reassure that it don't, this part here doesn't sink up into the gasket. That's the whole idea behind it. But I've never had no problem. I've run these like this, and I have never had no problem with this type of gasket. Now, old quart gasket, yeah, I think you could run into a problem, and it could actually start taking up some of the area in here from just being imprinted into that. over tightened, but the new style gasket don't seem to have that problem. And I've just ran them just like this, and I've never had a problem with them starving or any other problem with them. And that's just your preference. They do have the plate. If you run the plate, run the gasket between the plate. Like you either have gasket, plate, and then it'll sit right here like so. And there you go. So either way you want to do it is totally up to you. All right, now the only other thing you can run into, you got to be careful. They do make some gaskets like this, and they had a different idle circuit in them. And when you put them on here, if you miss that, you're in trouble, because that's the transfer slot, and it will just pour fuel in there. I mean, you just got to be careful there. Trust me on that. Make sure there's no meter in there. Basically what it does is just pulling fuel like crazy. So make sure you don't use this gasket here. Always look at it, make sure it's got the corners here. The difference in the two, you can see one's rounded, one isn't. And if it don't have them corners, you're in trouble. Unless it's on the proper carburetor. But these are all 4160s because they have the rear meter and plate. All right, guys. This the gasket goes with it, and just remember you're using the transfer slot. Oh, I'm sorry, cameraman's trying to tell me to move this over here. All right, we're using the transfer slot, which is this one right here. This hole is not here on the rear. Now, you don't have it on the rear, just the transfer slot. So only thing being fed through this plate is the transfer slot. Does not have an idle circuit on there. It would have to put the meter block in to do the 4-corner idle circuit. All right, guys. I hope I've covered everything. Let me look real quick, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Oh, one other thing I want to show you on these Holleys. This is really an unusual deal, but it seems to be only on the 1850-3. These are this 3310. 1850, they're basically the same thing. I mean, they're just physically bigger inside. But here's your rear secondary vent. Look what's underneath here. This is a hole going right into the vent. And I haven't got anybody yet can answer why they put it there. I believe it actually helps when you're on a rough track, like a circle track car, and it's bumping and running into whole stuff, and the fuel's getting up in here. I think it helps it just bleed off from the bottom. I don't know for sure, but that's the only thing I can understand from it. Help it get it out of the circuit where it don't stumble. When you hit the gas, if there's fuel up here, it can't get air, it will stumble. Pure, absolutely. That's always been a problem, and we try to control it different ways. But guys, that's all. This is a short video. I've never went over this plate. I wanted you to see it. If you have any questions, please leave me some questions in the app. And y'all have a good day.